They said rock and roll would never die.
Yeah.
They didn't say it wouldn't get old. Dusty Hill, bass player for ZZ Top.
Uh-oh.
On his tour bus, he slipped and injured his hip.
Oh, no.
The extent of the injury, we do not know.
Oh, man.
But Dusty Hill...
Our favorite rockers are having hip problems?
They're having hip problems. Dusty Hill is laid up for about 5 weeks. ZZ Top has had to postpone the remainder of their tour.
I just had a mental image. Not of RD, no. But of ZZ Top and this guy with his bass attached to a walker.
That's not funny, but it is.
Are you kidding me?
And now, announcing the All-Star Defense Team for Texas Governor Rick Perry. Heading up the team, Houston attorney Tom Busby. You may have never heard of this guy, but he won the largest jury verdict against BP as a result of the BP oil spill.
Really?
So far...
So why isn't he living on some island somewhere, kissing the world goodbye?
Because the money is in Houston, Texas, my friend. So far in his lawsuit settlements, he has won his clients more than $1 billion.
Golly.
Next up, Austin attorney David Botsford, who is defined as the go-to defense attorney.
Are we really doing this?
We really are. Come on, pop that back up. Let's have some fun with this, all right?
Oh, no. I just want to make sure I can hear you.
Tom Phillips, former Chief Justice of the Texas Supreme Court.
Wow.
Bobby Birchfield of Washington, D.C. He's one of them there D.C. lawyers, you know. And last but definitely not least, Ben Ginsburg, who represented George W. Bush in the Florida recount lawsuits.
I mean this in the nicest possible way, Leland. But you're such a geek.
This is out of National Journal that the House Ethics Committee has made a rule change where if a nonprofit organization gives you an all-expense-paid trip, you no longer have to disclose that on your annual financial disclosures.
Yeah, that was a decision that was made months ago by Linda Sanchez and I. We've made the wrong decision, and we'll hear it first on your program today. Today, we will reverse that decision.
You know when the Beatles performed on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964?
Yeah.
Their first major TV appearance in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
kind of
launched
them here.
British rock invasion. Really a monumental moment for America.
Right.
It was one of the most iconic moments in entertainment history. Everybody can remember where they were when they saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. It's like the moon landing.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where they were. If you were alive, you know where you were. 14-year-old Robert Burns Jr. was sitting in front of his television at home, Indian style, on the living room floor in front of Mom and Dad, sees the Beatles playing on Ed Sullivan, and gets to thinking, that looks pretty cool. I think I'd like to do that.
Be a rock star?
Be a rock star. And he notices Ringo Starr, man, looks really cool playing those drums. So he said, I'm going to get me a drum set. I'm going to learn to play the drums. So he gets him a drum set, starts banging around on it, meets up with a friend by the name of Ronnie Van Zant. And they form a little band. You might have heard of them, Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yep.
Well, he toured with Lynyrd Skynyrd for 10 years, from 1964 when they got the band started, all the way up to 1974 when Life on the Road got just a little bit too hard for him. He played on the band's debut album and then the multi-platinum follow-up Second Helping in 1974.
So he was a part of the original Sweet Home Alabama. And Okay.
He passed away over the weekend at the age of 64.
Oh, man.
Car accident.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Everybody expects the NFL to be a police, and I think that kind of, like I said, it's part of their fault, but that's not what they're there for.
Well, I think I see where you're coming from here. You're saying, if I understand you, that if a guy that goes to work here in Brownwood for a local company, if he gets in trouble off the job, as long as that doesn't affect the way he does his job, it doesn't affect him. You don't get fired from a local plant because you got arrested the night before, as long as you're out of jail and you're back at work on time.
Yeah, if it doesn't affect you at work, actually, you'll get in trouble with TWC if you fire somebody.
And another thing I'm picking up here is that it seems to bother you a little bit that the NFL is being used as a PR tool for a number of organizations.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Brant brings up some pretty good points. I have some thoughts on that, but I know we got to get to weather. So when we come back from Limbaugh, we'll go over those.
The news is just the beginning. The rest of the issue lives here. Every angle, every story, every day. News Talk 102.3 KXYL, AM 1240.
It was mentioned earlier on the show that, well, hey, what he did was off the field. What Ray Rice did was off the field. It was a personal matter. People don't get fired for things that go on in their personal lives. That's true for the most part, except when you're in a position that involves public relations. If you're a public relations person, you're a salesperson, you're the face of the organization, then it makes sense. Now, then your personal life does matter. I've got a friend, he's a sports anchor up in the Metroplex, and he has to sign a morality clause.
Yeah.
There are certain things that normal, everyday Americans do that he doesn't get to do because he's a sports anchor, and it would look bad on the station if he did those things. And if he gets caught doing those things, it's in his contract that he can be terminated for doing. When you're an NFL player, you are the face of your franchise, and you are a representative of the league. And something you do off the field that misrepresents the league and makes the league look bad, you can be disciplined for that. It's in your contract. It's in the NFL rules, personal conduct policy. The deal with Ray Rice and Janae Rice was such a big deal because after the video came out, then it began to affect the league's perception among women, how they handled it. Oh, you knocked your girlfriend out that was only worth 2 games. That started to affect, or had the potential to affect, sponsorship revenue.
Yep.
So Roger Goodell
it comes down to the money.
It always comes down to the money.
Yep.
Now, I agree with our caller earlier that the NFL is being overly politicized. It's becoming a tool for advocates to use to promote various agendas, and those agendas will be selected based on what the NFL thinks will be the best for sponsorship revenue. It would be nice to see the NFL just go back to being a football league.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the players have to realize that they do represent the league. News Talk 102.3 KXYL, 7:44 in the morning. Yesterday, Attorney General Greg Abbott, who's running for governor, as well as Ted Cruz, our senator out of the state of Texas, visited Lackland Air Force Base to view the conditions of children that had been brought across the border illegally. Following their tour of Lackland Air Force Base, here's what Ted Cruz had to say.
But the real priority should be solving this problem so that next year we don't have 145,000 little boys and little girls crossing illegally into this country. We get back to where we were in 2011. 2011 was 3 years ago. We had just 6,000. What has changed? The 2 things that have changed between 2011 and now is, number one, the Obama administration has made a decision that they will instruct the Border Patrol not to enforce the law. There is pending litigation right now within ICE of agents frustrated because they're told by their supervisors, ignore the law, you're not allowed to be effective law enforcement officials.
Joining us on the program this morning, Mark Jones, the Joseph D. Jamel Chair of Latin American Studies, Professor and Chair of Political Science and Fellow in Political Science at Rice University's Baker Institute for Public Policy, joins us. Mark, was the senator correct in blaming the situation on the Texas border on the Obama administration?
Well, I think there's a lot of blame that goes around to everybody.
I mean, the Cowboys have a decent running game, but Adrian Peterson allegedly told Jerry Jones that he would be interested in playing for the Cowboys when his tenure with the Vikings is up.
Apparently there was a phone conversation between the two.
There was. I think I got some audio from that phone call.
Okay.
What can I do for you? You just tell me, what can I do for you?
It's a very personal, very important thing. Show me the money.
Was that the music playing in Jerry Jones' office when this conversation went on?
Yeah, Jones is a Snoop Dogg fan. I don't know if you know this or not.
Apparently. Show me the money, huh? Is Adrian Peterson coming to the Cowboys, possibly? Is that the equivalent of Emmitt Smith going to the Cardinals?
It would be. I think it'd be the equivalent of Herschel Walker going to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now, talk about role reversal. You just want to see a school system established where it's more student-centered and not so much state-mandated essential knowledge and skills, teach to the test, federally mandated system.
Well, that's
largely correct. I'm trying to get rid of the current system, though, which is autocratic. I think that is fundamentally detrimental, and I think the research shows it. But I'm not saying that everyone should just be that there should be total anarchy.
That's the balance I'm having a hard time finding here in your program, because it seems like on one hand you're saying the kids their civil rights are being denied. They're being told they have to be here. They're being told to sit down, shut up, don't be human for these next 8 hours. But at the same time, if you run it as a democracy, I will tell you, when I was a high school sophomore, if we would have had the opportunity to vote on what we were doing that day, we would have spent the entire day playing Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
But there isn't necessarily inherently anything wrong with playing Carmen Sandiego. It is designed and conceived to be educational.
Class field trip in New Hampshire. A group of fourth graders made the trip to the state capitol. They wanted to see how a bill becomes a law. Some good old fashioned schoolhouse rocks.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Is this the Saturday Night Live version?
No, this is the real one.
It's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long
So anyway, these fourth graders make the trip to the New Hampshire state capitol to see how a bill becomes a law. And they actually introduced a bill. They proposed a bill, House Bill 373, that would have designated the red-tailed hawk as the New Hampshire state bird, or the state raptor, as it were. So you think, hey, this is pretty cool.
Do they already have a state bird?
Probably. Who cares? I don't know what the New Hampshire state bird is. I don't even think Cliff would know what the New Hampshire state bird is. But anyway, so they introduce this bill. These fourth graders go to Capitol Hill, in New Hampshire, the New Hampshire state capitol, and they introduce this bill to make the red-tailed hawk the state bird. Okay?
Okay.
And you think, now how do you think the legislators would have responded to this?
With the encouragement. It's the purple finch, by the way.
Oh, Google is wonderful.
Which looks red. So go figure. They call it the purple finch. Anyway, so how did the lawmakers react?
They made fun of them.
What?
Democratic Representative Christy Bartlett said, "We have little time to invest in this topic. The red-tailed hawk is a beautiful bird, but it's ubiquitous. I'm not trying to be mean, but this is a prime example of being swayed against our better judgment. We need your help to stay focused on issues of more importance this year."
Nice.
Representative Warren Groen, a Republican of Rochester, also opposed the bill. He said, as I was doing the research on this, so this guy actually took time to research a state bird bill.
Jeez.
At least somebody's doing their homework up there.
Yeah, right.
As I was doing the research on this bill, I watched a couple of videos. It's known for its extremely strong and sharp talons, which it grasps its prey. It uses its razor-sharp beak to rip its victim to shreds, tearing it apart limb by limb. I guess the shame about making this a state bird is that it would better serve as a mascot for Planned Parenthood.
Oh. Wow, really?
So you got these fourth graders go up to the state capitol in New Hampshire. Okay, let's present a bill, everybody. And the teacher comes up with something benign. Mm-hmm. Red-tailed hawk is a state bird, and they wind up being ridiculed by lawmakers. I just total classlessness.
Total. But then again, they're politicians, so. Just saying.
Talk about your all-time backfires.
Not all politicians are like
if I can get my bill.
Oh, there you go.
No, but how I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
He signed your bill. Now you're a law.
Oh, yes.
Jeez.